Jaffer. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Jaffer?
Walaikum salam. Absolutely fine.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. You look fresh. You cut your hair and you trimmed up for this meeting.
Not for the meeting, but just I did it.
It's Friday to Juma ke liye kiya hoga.
Jumma ke liye. Then we had a sleep and I just woke up.
Okay, so Jaffer, what I'd like to do today is discuss with you risks associated with farming, Pakistan, our investment, shareholding. So lots of topics, which I think is a really important topic to discuss. Um, what I just before we do that, just give us an update about what's the latest on the farm, what's been happening in the last few days, anything new?
Nothing particularly new. Our new cows are coming in.
Mm.
Next month, the ship is at the dock in Melbourne at the moment, Portland basically. It would be leaving today or tomorrow. And that's the news. Plus, we are constructing our shed. That obviously takes a time. We are almost done with a feed store. So what we'll do next time is take a tour of a farm so everyone can see what's happening over here.
That would
Other
be
than that, everything is going fine.
tell
We are
so.
also upgrading our solar. I got solar installed, so just adding on more solar panels to it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So you know the shipment that's coming, how many animals are being shipped this on this shipment?
The total animals is around 2,200, but we just got very specific animals, few of them 30 animals, Aussie Reds.
Okay. All right. And I think in one of our future videos in the next few weeks, I'd like to speak to you about the different breeds and why, for example, you've chosen Aussie Reds compared to something else. So we'll talk about that in a future session. So we've got 30 new animals should be arriving. How long does it normally take for them to come from Australia and then land on our farm?
25 to 28 days.
Okay.
Depends on the speed of ship and the speed of winds.
Okay, perfect. So, without too much delay, Jafar, I think it's really important for our investors to understand risks. And I think basically, we spoke last time about the positives of the investment, but most people are naturally risk averse. And the conversations I've had with people over the last 2 years, people have got the strangest worries about investing. And we'll talk about those today. And I'll try and give you some examples. And I'd like to pick your brains and how you would answer those worries that people might have. The first one is
Mhm.
probably the most difficult one, and that's Pakistan itself. Like most people don't like the idea of investing in Pakistan. Now, it's why do you think that might be? First, before we can talk about the farm itself, why is it people have such an aversion to investing in Pakistan?
There are multiple reasons, multiple reasons. People are being fraud in Pakistan, especially overseas Pakistani community, which is being fraud in Pakistan. Plus, the the main reason which I saw when I was in England that people in England came to England, migrated from Pakistan back in 60s,
Mm,
and most of them and their families haven't been visiting Pakistan frequently.
that's true.
Some cases, our shareholders they didn't even came to Pakistan. They're just born over there. They know their parents and their families in Pakistan, and they are not coming here. So the perspective they have in their mind is most likely the perspective of Pakistan stuck back in 60s and 70s. So what
Mm,
happened in 70s, which I recently discovered reading history, that there was a government of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, which basically took over all the businesses, local businesses, and it was a Soviet era, and communism was on the rise in Pakistan. He was pro-communist, and he was taking up all the businesses and putting it in the government.
mm.
After that, he went away, but the perception stayed in the mind
Okay.
of people.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So that was a bigger risk, but now it's very different. After that, there are so many companies, so many things happening in Pakistan. You have been visiting Pakistan. You can share your views on that.
Mm,
How do you see Lahore? What's the development going on? It's not the Pakistan of 70s. It's not the Pakistan of 60s. But still, there are factors which people should think. And even if I was in their position, I would be thinking.
Mm.
But then again, it comes at where you are putting the money in. Can you trust the people you are managing? And we have placed a lot of fail safe to ensure that people's investments stay safe.
Okay.
For example, our company is registered with SECP. We only deal with banks, no cash involved. We don't uh, do transactions with illegal companies. We don't do transactions with companies who are not registered. So we try to evade everything, and we don't give credits. We don't take credits. Uh, we don't want to place our investment in risk anywhere.
Okay. All right. All right. So,
So it's a mixed background. And then after that, in after 2000s, there was a lot of property boom, and people trusted their family over here. And in most of the cases, you see, uh, that's what I have seen, and with a lot of people, that most of the people are being frauded by their far family over here in Pakistan
okay.
because they
Okay.
don't know anyone. For example, you don't know anyone except me.
Yeah.
I can defraud you. I can do a fraud with you, but no one else.
Jaffer,
But
you're supposed to be inspiring people.
that's a that's a
You're making me
because
worried.
because no, because you trust me.
Yeah.
You can. It's a normal case. You call your cousin and he says that's a very good opportunity. You could do that, and you don't have any proper legal documentation.
Yeah.
Our process is different. You get your legal documentations, you get lawyer representation in Pakistan, you get SECP certificates, basically SECP transfer of shares, and then if we are talking about land, you get your own land registry. It's on your name. I don't keep anything on my name, so I tend to transfer it in your name. So yes, business. If we discuss business risks, it's different. Being investing in Pakistan, is different. Pakistan, obviously, multinational companies are investing in Pakistan. Look, Nestle has a very big investment over here. Friesland Campania has a very big investment over here. There are so many companies. I'm just talking about the companies who are related to dairy.
I
So
mean,
if you have proper company structure, it's really good.
that's a really good introduction. I want to dig into some of these things that you said, which is really helpful. The first thing is SECP. I mean, just clarify for our listeners what that is.
Securities and Exchange Commission, Pakistan.
Hmm.
So if you are listening in UK, that's Companies House of Pakistan.
Okay. All right.
So you have obviously over there in UK Companies House, registering a company is very easy. Over here, if you have to register an SECP and go private limited, you have to have proper legal system and proper legal representation to have it. And uh, they have lots of checks. You cannot transfer shares to other names. You cannot uh, defraud it. They have their own regulations and they are very strict on that. Plus now the new thing I came to know for overseas Pakistani, there is a proper complaint cell of the government only for overseas Pakistanis. So if you are an overseas Pakistani having issue in Pakistan, you can just put a complaint over there and they'll sort the things out.
Okay, that's really good to know. I mean, I think people understand Companies House, and I know investors have said to me in the past, but how do I know that actually this money I'm transferring to you on trust, how do I know it actually has some representation? And what we're saying is all of our shareholders, their names would be on the registry on the SECP as actual shareholders of the company.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, as we have done for all other shareholders, except there are few shareholders, their transfer is pending. But obviously, I've told them that once we have sold all the shares, we'll do the transfer. Other than that, all other investors, especially our Indian investors, I have few friends from India, back from Australia, who invested. That's a bit lengthy procedure, but that will happen as well.
Okay. Yeah, and I assume that's because of the historical d difficulties between India and Pakistan. Does that make it
Yeah,
more
but we
complex?
have got the NOCs. It took time, 6 months from the government. Then there is another department of intelligence we need to get Indian clearances from, but that's sorted.
Okay. All
As
right.
long as the money is clean, money is not coming from any bad source, that's okay.
I mean, I can say from my own personal experience, what Jaffer, what you're saying is true in that actually, I'm connected to Pakistan primarily through you. I've got other family there, but from a business perspective, you're my contact. And, I've been investing significant amounts of money in the farm and in other ventures. And, one of the things that gives me confidence is the fact that everything is on my name. I've got land there that's on my name. The farm, my shares are on my name. So I have this third party backup in addition to my trust with you that gives me that security to know that actually my funds are in reliable places. Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
So the big thing, as long as everything is on your passport, on your name, that's not going anywhere. For example, when first I had to buy a property in UK, I was very concerned as well. I was in Pakistan at that time, and I had to buy property overseas, and I was concerned that whether I can buy the property or not. But then when I went through all the process, um, it felt secure.
Yeah. 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 So actually, so what we're saying to people is, okay, so some of the worries aren't really grounded in any real or aren't that grounded in that some of it is historical in the 60s, 70s, and I think that's very true. Most people, I would say, in my friends or people, I would say the overwhelming majority have got very little connection to Pakistan now. They've never been. They went as children once or twice, and they might have a memory of what it used to be like. And I think I've firsthand seen Lahore. Some of the major cities are massively modernized now, and they've got processes and structures in place. So that's part of the problem. But also the fact that actually investing in the farm now, which has got its own structures, extra structures in place to give them that security, that's quite unique, I think, in the farm. Do you find that across other businesses in Pakistan is the same?
It depends. It depends how the people are working. In Pakistan, culture of having a private limited company with lots of shareholders is not booming. People
Okay.
usually have their own small businesses. They don't want to grow big. That's why you don't see very big companies in Pakistan,
Okay.
local companies. But being doing business in Australia and then in Pakistan, what I realized that doing business alone at a smaller scale doesn't do good. Do business, big business with lots of people, lots of investors, and do big. Make money for everyone.
Hmm.
Plus, if you are big, the operations become easy.
Okay, so sometimes you get benefit of scale.
Obviously, in dairy, yes. We have a veterinary doctor who is recommended for 100 animals and who is recommended for 1,000 animals. So if we divide his salary over 1,000 animals, he's very cheap to us.
Hmm. Hmm.
But if we are putting that person on similar person on 100 animals or 200 animals, it becomes expensive.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And also ordering, obviously, the fodder and all the food and the things that.
Yes, yes. When we place orders, bigger quantities, people know that they are a very big client of theirs, and then we can negotiate well. We can do everything in a very well mannered and proper way.
Okay, fantastic. Good.
That's what happened.
Okay, so Pakistan, we've dealt with at a sort of global scale. A little bit more then about you, Jafar, because people, at the end of the day, from my perspective, I see, if you ask me personally, the biggest risk of the farm is somewhere you, because it so much hinges on your ability, your knowledge, your commitment, that are the shareholders in a vulnerable position in some way, in that if you're not there, is our investment wasted?
No, it's not wasted. If I'm not there, my children are here. Like, obviously, I have to think for my children as well. I think I am the biggest stakeholder in this farm.
Mm.
Obviously, I do have other sources of income as well. But the places, the thing which is over here, basically, you can hire a good farm manager anytime and he can run the farm as long as the farm is big enough, as long as the farm can afford him. Now, at the moment, obviously, there is a salary which I write in the books, but I don't draw it out because I'm working over here. I'll draw it out once the farm is in full swing. But as long as you can hire a proper farm manager who can run the farm with the experience of at least 10 years, You have a team over. All other team is being hired over here. I don't have any family members, or my friends running the farm. Everyone is professional. Our
Okay.
veterinarian, our assistant farm manager, our accountant, our procurement manager, everyone, even labor, tend to have like 3 to 5 years experience of labor. That guy can come on the farm. So as long as we can hire a proper person, farm is not going anywhere.
So, obviously, I've seen you, Jaffer, firsthand, and I know how dedicated you are in terms of all hours of the day and night, answering phones, dealing with issues. Is that the case that this is only for the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years until we reach our goal? And after that, basically, the hurdles will have become overcome, everything becomes systematized, and there's less variability. Is that the case?
Yes, there would be less variability in terms of construction, but in terms of dairy operation, we have to be on it. Every year, the dairy is changing
Mm.
because the crops are changing and the weather is changing. Then we have to deal with the import of soya, canola, and everything. But uh, if you see the dairy farming as a business, and even now on YouTube, I was just seeing yesterday on YouTube, lots of dairy farmers in UK, Australia, and Canada, they have their own YouTube channels, and they sort of have camera with them, half hour of videos. And I'll start doing it as well. I'm a bit of camera shy,
I've been
a
telling
lot
you,
of camera
Jaffer,
shy.
tell everybody how bad you've been at listening to my instructions. How long has it been since I've been saying to you, just start
At
recording
least
your
three
life?
years. At least 3 years.
Yeah. Mm.
So, but now I'm saying it, and I'm just telling this because if anyone has to research on dairy farming, just see those channels for 3, 4 days or 3, 4 videos, and you'll know how farming is going on. You'll have a complete knowledge of it. You have to go through same routine every day, plus then fodder routines. Every season is changing. We have crops coming in. When people think of dairy farming, it's not just dairy farming, it's agriculture, it's procurement, it's import and export.
Mm.
It's a very big business itself, very
Mm.
big business.
Mm.
And milk is just part of it, breeding itself, semen imports, and lots of things connected to each other. Plus, we'll have far more opportunities to invest and make money later on once we have achieved a target over here.
So, yeah, exactly. So, as we said last time, our main business model, which gives us amazing returns, is based upon the sale of animals. But as you said, we've got so many opportunities to go into other things if we wish to later.
Yes, obviously.
Okay, so one difficult question for you then, I mean, it should be an easy answer to be honest, is people have said to me, don't invest in Pakistan. And one of our investors, I was speaking to her yesterday, and her own dad said, don't invest in Pakistan. You can never trust anybody. He'll take your money and run. How can we reassure people that's not a possibility? Like Jafar won't turn around tomorrow and pocket all the money and close the farm.
How can I close the farm? I have more than 300 animals. 300 animals are not, I'm not going to pack them and take them away anywhere.
Mm,
Wherever I go, it will have a space over there. So I cannot run away with the business.
mm,
Okay, I can, what we can, if seeing scenarios, I can take a particular amount of money which is in the bank and go away. But that won't give me any good. I
yeah.
have invested myself in the farm. I believe in the farm, and the farm is going to give me returns later on. So I don't need to do that. Plus, if I needed to do that, or the intention was that, I would have stayed in UK. I wouldn't have come over here.
Mm. What do you mean?
Mean- Means if I don't want to stay over here, I want to run away. Where would I go? I'll come back to UK.
Mm,
That's the only option I have,
mm,
or maybe I'll go to Dubai. But then again, I cannot run away with the money. Legal structure is here. You can do case in Pakistan. Now everything is global. I cannot hide anywhere. No one can hide anywhere if you have proper legal channel and your everything is written, everything is with SECP registered. No one can hide. And
So,
that's the information I provide to my shareholders.
okay. Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Is beyond myself and yourself saying to people, this is registered with the SECP, we have lawyers, how can they verify that? beyond us? How can they be sure that that's actually the case?
Obviously, when the shares are transferred uh, in their name, we have a SECP document which we send it to them. We get it from SECP, and they can get it themselves as well through any lawyer in Pakistan.
Hmm.
Or they can write an email to SECP and they'll reply to it as well.
And they can verify that their name is on the shareholding document.
Yes, they'll
I mean,
give
I
the
mean, I
same
can.
document to them.
I've seen the current investors, including myself, our shareholding allocation, our names, etc. I've seen it myself firsthand anyway. So people that know me and trust me, hopefully, will know that that already exists. But it's just nice to know from new investors' perspective that these structures are in place. Okay, so
Yes.
the next question, Jafar, is one of the concerns for investors is the volatility of the rupee and the fact that they're worried
Volatility
about
of the
investing
rupee.
in
Okay.
Pakistan.
Yes, that's the biggest worry which I had as well. But after starting the business, what I have realized that the dairy animals, their price is being valued in US dollars
Hmm.
in Pakistan
Hmm.
because we import a lot of animals and we are not going to be sufficient enough to produce the quantity which we import or quantity which we need. So for the foreseeable future, everything is depending upon US dollars. But if in a case that US Pak rupee devalues a lot, uh, that hasn't happened because the predictions which we did in our financials, we are sticking up to it, and our investors which have been investing with us for past few years, they know that we haven't changed their returns depending on the currency rates. Even though it went up and down, we tried to level it. But if there is a drastic change, for example, the pound at the moment is for 350 rupees. If it goes up to 2000 rupees in a night, that's a worry, but that's not going to happen.
I mean, how much? So if somebody gives you $40,000 tomorrow, where does
Uh-huh.
that money? Is that sitting in a bank and therefore it's affected by the rupee? Like in at any one time, how much of
No,
the
no, no.
business is susceptible to the inflation of the rupee?
We are growing farm, Nasir. We don't have money in the bank.
Hmm.
We have money in commodities. So
Hmm.
if the rupee is devalued, the value of commodity goes up as well. That's why we are not worried about it. For
Hmm.
example, we invest in animals. Okay, if it's the rupee is devalued, our price of animal will go up.
So it doesn't really
For
matter
example,
then.
yeah, we invest in corn. The corn price will go up as well.
Hmm.
The construction value will go up as well. The asset value will go up as well. So it really doesn't affect in that way. But obviously, if something happens overnight and the prices of and the rupee collapses to a level where no one can recover, that's a different story. But still, we would be running our farm would be stabilized. If you have to study, if anyone has studied the Sri Lankan model, which went to bankruptcy and now it's back up again, so it won't affect our money. Yes, it would bound our money for a year or so, but it won't affect our standing over here in Pakistan.
And to my knowledge, the only money that's in terms of from a business operational perspective that is in rupees is when you sell and buy milk, right? It's when you sell the milk.
Yes.
So at that
Yes.
time, so the investors that are investing in a cow model where we do a profit sharing model of the milk, um,
Mhm.
those people temporarily, if the rupee drops value, their money is slightly affected. But that's only a small segment of the assets of the farm.
Yes. Very small. Very small.
Okay, fantastic. So that's good. So I know that's a big worry for most people. And somebody said actually, but in actual fact, our money is pegged against the dollar rather than the rupee, if you want to say that in summary. Okay.
Yes, and it's because dairy is a global business. Later on, when we have our animals ready to sell, we are planning to sell it to China. And obviously, China will buy in US dollars or whatever mode of currency at that time would be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. And then one quick question on that then. So let's say somebody comes to buy an animal off you in Pakistan. When we say it's valued in the US dollars, they clearly will pay in rupees, but it will be the equivalent of whatever the international price is in dollars.
Yeah, for example, at the moment in Australia, the animal which we are getting is for $3,000. So we'll just multiply. We won't quote them $3,000, but we know that the animal is about 1 million rupees. So we'll get 1 million rupees and we can convert it into US dollars if we have to
Yeah.
send it back to our investors.
Yeah. And just out of interest, Jaffer, have you sold any animals so far?
Yes, I have done a test run. All three breeds I have sold for very good prices, very good prices.
Was it just a test? You just wanted to see what the market was like and
Yes, yes. But now, one of my initial investors who invested in our cow project wants to get his money out. He invested in two animals. I have put them on sale. In a couple of days, we'll just sell it and send his money back. And that would be a success story, a milestone as well, that we have returned the money to our investors.
oh, fantastic. So this is the first investment from 2 years ago. Um, the model of that investment was you were buying cows, share the profits of the milk, and at the end of the investment, what happens to get to return the money?
Sell the animals and get them their money back,
Okay,
their initial
fantastic.
investment back.
Fantastic. MashaAllah. And what was the return on average over the last 3 years for the investment?
The average return which we have calculated came around 8.75%.
Okay. I mean, it's a hands-off, risk-free investment.
Yes.
Good. Okay, so then just last few minutes now, talking more about the risks associated with the actual running of the farm itself. And, and as we touched upon this last time, the risks of um, animal death, mortality, things like that.
Okay, that's a big topic. As this, but I'll just start it again. Uh, Risks associated with the farm. The biggest risk at any farm is outbreak of a virus, and we lost either total loss of animals or we lost about 50% of the animals. So what we have done over here at Gulshan is that we have two facilities, one for heifers and one for milking cows. So at the end, what we'll do is we'll keeping our milking animals over here, 1,000 at this facility, and another facility 5 to 6 kilometers away, which we have bought the land. We are starting to construct. We will send all the growers heifers over there. So if God forbid anything happens at one facility, second facility stays safe.
Mm,
Secondly, we have our own veterinarian team over here 24/7. People don't have it in Europe or UK because they cannot afford it. In Pakistan, we can afford it. So we have our own veterinarian team. Anything which is attacking our animals, we are on it. They are working on the farm 24/7.
mm.
So we try to take on those diseases at a very early stage. Plus, we do regular vaccines. We have a proper vaccine schedule. So, anyways, in last couple of years, 7, 8 years, Pakistan didn't have any outbreak of a swear disease except lumpy skin disease, which came
Mm.
in from South Africa. But in Pakistan, we were our team, different farms and their teams were on it, and they imported the vaccine of lumpy skin disease and did it to their herds. It didn't cause any big problems over here.
Okay. And what's the mortality rate on our farm specifically over the last 3 years or so?
2% yearly.
Okay. Is that good?
Oh, very good. Anything below 5% at a livestock farm is very good.
Okay. Fantastic. Good. Good to know. It's reassuring. I mean, obviously, any death of an animal is sad, and I know when I was speaking to Hassan when we were in Pakistan, and he was saying that, when you have a smaller farm, it hurts a lot more when one animal dies. But when you go at scale, it's almost part and parcel of life of the farm, isn't it? You
Yeah,
expect.
obviously, animals get sick, animals get injured, animals have chronic diseases, animals have diseases, which as humans we can catch at early stage, but in animals we cannot catch at early stage. So once it's grown, you have done all the investment on it, and she suddenly becomes sick, and we have to cull it. That's very difficult,
Hmm.
but it's the part of dairy farming.
Uh, so uh, Jaffer, in terms of just a question that you touched upon earlier, last few questions, is what's the chance? What's the possibility? So this is a good question actually. It was skipping my mind. It's come back to me. Is we've got projections based upon certain assumptions of how the business model is going to work. We're going to basically grow our herd and we're going to sell a certain amount of animals every year. Are there any particular risks or any reasons why that won't happen? How confident are we that that should work? Is there anything that can stop that happening?
The only risk is we are unable to sell the animals. We would have our animals anyway. The only risk is that in a particular year, the market is bad and we cannot sell the animals. That's the risk which we can have, or which that's a possibility which we can have. Either at that point in time, we can sell it for a lower price and get lower profits, or we can hold those animals for a few months and sell it later on. So we can mitigate that risk, but we cannot have a risk that we have 1,000 milking herd and we don't have replacement heifers to sell. That's not possible.
Okay, yeah, yeah. And I mean, that's more of a very remote possibility rather than a reality anyway. As we discussed last time, the demand for animals in Pakistan at the moment is soaring, and there's no reason why that's going to stop in the next 20 years. So, um,
And global production is going down as well. Uh, you don't have animals left in European Union or Britain. The farms are going at a very low scale. So someday you would need animals as well.
hmm, hmm.
We can export it to Europe and UK as well. As
Okay,
long as the breeding pattern which we have very good animal registered with Holstein associations, registered with Jersey associations, genomically tested, high-end pedigree animals, they go for a good, very good price.
fantastic. Okay, and last one, which is just tagging on to what we said earlier. In the 70s, governments came and took businesses. How can that ever happen in the future?
No, that in Pakistan's perspective, they have done it once. They cannot repeat the mistake.
Hmm.
Other than that, communism is not a popular way of. Even Russia is not doing it anyway. Communism is finished. That's communist idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everything belongs to government and government pays for the people. That's not trending anymore.
Very good. I mean, I've just read a book by a person called Thomas Sowell called Basics of Economics, and he talks at length about how destructive that policy was, this idea of government running, and how private business is much, much more beneficial for society and for individuals. So, inshallah, Allah preserve our societies from that. Good. Perfect. Okay, Jaffer, last few minutes, inshallah. Obviously, people are listening to these talks now and will produce more and more to give people an insight to the farm. We are currently selling our remaining shares. So do you want to just tell people a little bit about what how they might contact us if they wish to buy a share and what's on offer?
Okay, we have 21 shares remaining, 21 units remaining, which we are selling. You can always contact. Can you give the contact information on your page? You can
Yes.
contact Nasir at gulshanfarms.com. He'll share his number as well. So you can contact Nasir Bhai and make a booking. We can have a proper chat and proper meeting. I'll show you financials and everything. And then you can make your mind for buying the shares. Plus, this is a good time for the people who have already invested in our farm to get these few shares because all the risk is gone at the starting, which we have. Now it's just time to wait and grow. And
Good.
the price of shares is going up as well.
Yeah, I mean it's worth saying that actually we literally when we last went to the to sell these shares, we were selling at 20,000 a share. Now we're selling at 40,000 a share because the farm has grown in size and we have more animals, and that's only going to naturally happen. We have no intention, Jafar, to further sell any more shares. So once the 21 shares are sold, we will never further dilute the farm. So people,
No, we
shareholders,
don't have. We don't have the shareholding with us to sell. These are the 21 shares which were remaining from 49 shares which we had to sell.
yeah, yeah, perfect. Great. Okay, Jafar, thank you so much for your time. Inshallah, we will catch up hopefully in a few days' time for another topic to discuss.
Okay. Thank you, Nasir Bhai.
Assalamu alaikum.
वालेकुम सलाम।